It's Friday, September 30th. Let's talk PlayStation. Alright, I'm going to level with you guys. I, am getting sick. I don't feel very well at all, so we're going to try and keep this video a little short so I can edit it, get it uploaded, and then, kind of go to sleep or something, or just kind of relax. Which is fine anyway, because this past week was kind of a little bit slow. There's only a few news stories, but we're still going to talk about them. So, our first news story this past week, Sony announced, officially confirmed PSX 2016. So if you didn't know, obviously the past 2 years now, Sony's been doing PlayStation Experience, which is a small little conference and convention that Sony does for PlayStation fans, which is really cool. So this time it's December 3rd and December 4th. It's going to be in Anaheim, California, at the Anaheim Convention Center. So they're tickets are available right now. They're running a early bird special for the ticket prices, so you can get them slightly discounted up until October 16th. So if you're planning on going or have any interest in going, you might as well grab those tickets now. Obviously, this is it's the same thing happens every year. Not only with this, but with other convention shows, people ask me if I'm going. I would love to go. It's just these things cost a lot of money. Traveling's expensive and stuff, so I'm more than likely not going to be able to go, which kind of sucks. But totally, if you're a PlayStation fan, by all means, go. I still think PSX is such a a really cool idea. I'm so glad Sony did something like this. I think it's totally awesome. It's this isn't a trade show. This isn't something that's for journalists or anything. This is specifically for PlayStation fans to give away free swag and stuff when you get there. Get to play PlayStation games, talk to developers. It's totally for the fans, which I think is a totally wholehearted decision that Sony made when they started doing PSX. So, and obviously it's good press for them when they do it every single year. So obviously there's those motives as well. But it's totally an awesome idea, and I'm glad that they're still doing it every single year. I wasn't lying. All right, the other interesting thing that happened is IGN was doing their one little series called IGN Unfiltered, where they have notable gaming figures come into the office and sit down and talk with them for an extended period of time. A lot of interesting stuff always comes out of these. This time they had a former Sony Computer Entertainment in America president and CEO, Jack Tretton. I'm sure you guys all know Jack Tretton. You got to remember Jack Tretton. They had him on to discuss a number of things about Jack's, history in the games industry, how long he's been with Sony, questions about Sony and his time there and stuff like that. It's a long 40-minute interview basically, so it's definitely watch it on your own time if you do have the time to do so. But we're going to talk about two interesting pieces that came out of that discussion where he was talking with IGN's Ryan McCaffrey. So the first thing he said was regarding Ken Kutaragi. Ken Kutaragi, of course, if you do not know, is highly regarded as the father of PlayStation. He, basically created PlayStation. He's had a long-standing history at Sony Corporation. And basically when Jack Tretton was talking about Ken Kutaragi, he said not only was he a fascinating man and obviously a bit of a visionary, but he almost he basically said he was a Japanese Steve Jobs. He said that's how he was kind of seen and regarded in terms of his ideologies and sort of the visions he had moving forward with the company. And apparently he was also poised to, at some point, be in the position where he could be, actual CEO of all of Sony Corporation and not just Sony Computer Entertainment. Obviously, Ken Kutaragi did end up leaving, but that's something that Jack said regarding Ken Kutaragi, and I could totally see how he could be seen in that regard. Ken, obviously, his time at Sony, he won so many awards for his contributions to the gaming industry, and obviously it's important because he basically made PlayStation and was with the company up until PlayStation 3. Excuse me, I know I'm being gross right now. He just has a very important footprint in the way we play games today. The other thing that Jack Tretton was talking about, and this one's the really interesting one, is about PlayStation Vita. And of course, Jack, at the time, he worked at Sony. Obviously, he's going to always say positive things about Sony. He's going to try and defend the company. He's going to give very PR statements. This is a position where Jack no longer is with Sony, and he can openly talk about things that he wouldn't normally be allowed to talk about, or at the very least have a, you know, bring his opinion into the subject. He doesn't represent Sony anymore. So when he was talking about PlayStation Vita, he had an interesting quote I'd like to share with you all. Now that I don't work there anymore, I think internally it was, this is a great machine, it's just too late. The world has shifted to portable devices that aren't dedicated gaming machines. And that's the kind of honesty I wish we could hear more often, but it you can't hear those things because more often than not, these people still work at their companies, and therefore it can't be brutally honest in this regard. So that's the thing, you look at how the PlayStation Vita has done over the past how many years since its launch. Obviously, it's not what we wanted it to be. I'm sure it's not what Sony wanted it to be. It's very disappointing, and we all agree, you know, me, you guys, I would assume, we all love PlayStation Vita. We really think it's an awesome piece of hardware, and it just sucks that it's nowhere near as successful as we wanted it to be. But you gotta figure, and that's what Jack is kind of relaying here, is that when they started seeing their numbers and realizing the market conditions, internally they just had to be dude, this isn't gonna go well. It is too late. And people always like to often see this, especially when the conversation is about PlayStation Vita, and then they'll say, oh, well, what about 3DS? The 3DS is still doing extremely well. It's not necessarily market conditions. And while, yes, the 3DS is doing very well, it is doing nowhere near the amount of sales that the DS was doing. So the decline is definitely there. Obviously, it's great that Nintendo is staying as relevant as it can, but 3DS numbers are not doing nearly as much as DS numbers. The decline is there, the market conditions are there, and it's just a situation where for Sony, it was very, very, very unfavorable. And, you know, they agree too. Obviously, they are proud of the system they created, but Jack basically said, yeah, it's more of a niche device. And that's kind of what we all started to realize slowly as Vita started to become less and less of a prominent games machine and became more of this thing where it was not getting as many games as we wanted, not getting as much support as we wanted. Sony started to take it out of the limelight slowly but surely through marketing materials, E3, you know, the E3 press conferences, and just overall general news about the system. It just so slowly started to creep away, and that's when it kind of started to set in for all of us, and it's just eerily disappointing. All right, I don't know if you guys ever actually noticed this in the the audio, but you'll always, I would assume if you're listening on headphones or something, there's always faint squeakings or something in the background. If you've been watching this channel for a while now, you know I actually keep pet rats. I do. I love rats. I used to date a girl who had a pet rat, and then I watched it for a while, and then I fell in love with rats as keeping them as pets or whatnot. So it's something that kind of stuck with me. And whenever I'm whenever I'm recording LTPS, these little bastards will sleep during the day, but once it becomes nighttime or whenever I have to do a video is when they'll start getting active and jumping around. And there's two of them. I can only have one out right now because God forbid he's going to run around too much and it's going to be too hard for me to keep track of him while recording a video. But when, you know, they're both over there, they always start making a bunch of noise and either fighting each other, play fighting or something, and making all this noise. And I can always, when I'm editing LTPS, I can hear it in the background. I obviously try to keep the microphone to, you know, still give good audio, but I can always still hear them in there, and I'm just I wonder if people ever notice that. Yeah, but if you ever wonder what that is, it's a pet rat. There you go. Yeah. Hi, YouTube. But yes, anyway, that's what that is. Okay, I guess this video has been cut short apparently, which I guess is okay because that's what I wanted to do anyway. So those are some of the news stories I want to talk about with you guys this week. If you didn't notice, we did finally upload the PS4 Slim noise comparison video, so you can see that. You can see how much noise the system makes in relation to my launch PlayStation 4. And then we also, I keep saying, whenever I say we, I don't say it we as I'm a business. I say we as in you and me, which I know is odd. Anyway, we uploaded the PS4 Slim review video, so we've like actually reviewed the system. So if you want to see what I think of it and all that, go ahead and watch that. And because I'm feeling like shit now, I'm telling you right now, like, there's probably zero chance of like the Let's Play happening by Monday, especially since I want to like do like a poll of it, because that's what like we always do. We do the Twitter poll and whatnot. I do have ideas kicking around. I've narrowed it down to a few games, so like I have games that we're gonna do in the poll, but there's like I said, like there's no way I'm gonna have this thing. There's no way I'm gonna do the poll and then have it recorded and edited and ready for Monday. And I still don't have any Ryan on Gaming videos ready, which I wanted to do over the weekend. But if this keeps getting worse, then that's probably not gonna happen either. So just bear with me. Maybe like the week after I will be 100%, which I would hope so. So next LTPS we will do we'll announce the Twitter poll for the next Let's Play, and we'll hopefully have more videos and ready. So and that's the thing, I hate the fact that I'm probably gonna go a whole week with like no video except LTPS. So nothing Monday, nothing Wednesday. I really don't want that to happen. It's a YouTuber thing. Like if you've been doing YouTube for a while and you have a set schedule and you don't have your videos released on time and stuff, like it's like missing work, and it's like missing work or something. Like it bothers you. So I don't want that to happen, but it's probably going to happen. So, but bear with me. So thank you. That concludes this week's episode of Let's Talk PlayStation. I'm Ryan Bujnovksy. Thank you all so much for talking with me, and I'll see you guys next Friday.